Money, Money, Money Insurance Special, co-presented by Exide Life Insurance.
Hello and welcome to Money, Money, Money. I'm Samira Abdi. If you like traveling as much as I do, you'd have inadvertently either missed a flight at some time, lost your baggage, needed to visit a doctor, or simply changed travel plans at the last minute. And if you think these things only happen to other people, think again. I've broken a foot in Venice. I've even had food poisoning in Bali. But luckily for me, I had travel insurance, and luckily so. Otherwise, I would have been left not just injured or ill, but actually with a hefty medical bill. So joining in today to tell us why you, me and almost every travel junkie needs travel insurance is Feroze Azeez of Anand, Rathi Private Wealth Management. Feroze, thanks very much for joining in. I know this is a lighter subject, but one which is so interesting. So I'm not going to ask you why everyone needs it. I mean, I've figured it out, and I'm sure so have a lot of other people. But tell us, what are the common mistakes that people normally make when they buy travel insurance?
See, when you buy, let me point out the most important mistakes. There's so many you can do actually.
I didn't even know that.
Let me actually point out the prominent ones, which can actually be impactful. Is trying to buy travel insurance last minute. People generally think I need travel insurance just before I board the flight. It's actually not so. You need to buy it as soon as you make a plan to travel, because there could be several reasons why there could be a cancelled flight. You might fall sick before the travel. Your travel agent might just become bankrupt, and you've made payments. Okay, but you're planning to buy the travel insurance before paying for the travel. So what happens is all these are actually covered in your travel policy. In most of them, you need to be actually careful whether they're actually being covered or not. If your travel is costing you ₹1 lakh and you've paid a 50,000 rupees advance to the travel agent, and the travel agent just says, I'm bankrupt, I'm not actually executing your travel. If you have bought the travel insurance before you've paid the advance and not just before you boarded the flight, you're still covered. So buying it last minute could be one of the most impactful items when it comes to travel insurance. The second is buying it for the entire period. Okay, people generally have the last flight. For example, you're taking an international flight and your home is in Bangalore, but the flight is from Mumbai. You're not covered for the leg between Mumbai and Bangalore. See, when you're taking an international flight, it could just happen that the flight of which actually is to Mumbai gets delayed, and then subsequently you miss the Mumbai-Bangalore flight. So they don't cover the domestic portion of the travel, but the international portion only. So covering yourself for the entire trip from home to home is one very important thing. Otherwise, you're not covered any which way for a large portion of it. Also, trying to take a cover for a longer period than your travel is also important, because there could be situations where you miss a flight and your visas are expiring the day when you actually missed your flight. Then you are staying beyond, and so many countries have penalty for actually overshooting the visa, apart from having other liabilities. So there is, it's very sensible to actually cover yourself for 2-3 days before and after, and not just the exact period of the travel. And the last one, which again is a very prominent one, you are taking a travel insurance to get the benefit of a medical cover. Not declaring your existing illness could be actually very bad. You need to, and there are some policies which actually cover 40 illnesses, existing illnesses. So they need to be declared properly, so that you're not actually having a rejected claim at the end of it. You should declare them properly. People generally take a shortcut and don't declare their chest pain, for example. And so stuff like that needs to be declared. So 3 last-minute bookings of insurance, not good.
Okay, so in that case, there is no minimum and maximum period of insurance, right?
No, there is not. Actually, in fact, there are insurance policies which not just cover a single travel. In one shot, you can buy multiple travels for a year.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not.
But neither of them being connected to the other.
Neither of them being. So multiple policies. Now, for example, HDFC Ergo actually has a multiple travel policy plan, which actually covers your entire year's travel, and there are maximum number of travels you can do in that policy, and you don't have to repeatedly buy if you're a frequent traveler. You don't have to do the logistics time and again, and the premiums actually shoot down.
Okay, so that makes sense. But what about the exclusions? I mean, what is it that one needs to watch out for as far as the exclusion clause is considered?
See, exclusions, there are several exclusions. When you're actually traveling abroad, there could be exclusions of any medical exigency as an outcome of alcohol consumption. excessive alcohol, it's not covered. Any terror or war attacks, and that's having a repercussion on it, in most policies are not covered. So probably if you look at exclusions of existing health reasons are not covered. Missing a flight in some insurance policies are not covered because you have missed the flight and it's actually your negligence. So there are several exclusions, but it's very important to see the exclusions corresponding to the policy you are buying rather than just looking at the general exclusions. Very important.
Okay, so basically anywhere where you could have an intention which led to a certain claim being arisen is excluded. How would an adventure holiday then rate for a travel insurance policy?
See, so probably adventure sports. Okay, if you're actually traveling and doing the sport as a profession, then it's not covered.
Oh.
Okay, so if there's a golfer traveling to play golf and he's buying a travel insurance, the golf, and if any injury during golf is happening, it's not covered. On the contrary, if you're traveling and if you're taking in, there are insurance policies which are specific to adventure holidays, and those have a premium which is almost 3 times more than the conventional ones, will have those covers. So if you're going for a specific reason of adventure holiday, then you need to take a package which will actually cost you more, but it'll cover you. But if you've taken a normal one and you're probably doing parasailing or any little adventures, then it's not covered again.
So that's something you need to watch. I mean, this is something I don't think anyone even thinks about. But, like in India, when we have a medical insurance, we proceed for treatment and then inform the insurer, right, that I'm already there, this is the treatment. Unless it's a serious ailment, pre-planned, where one can have a beforehand discussion. For travel insurance, if someone is abroad, do they also need to take prior permission?
See, most of the policies, because it's very difficult for somebody to be in a different country and arrange for different things. So cashless is mostly a feature available in 80-90% of the policies. The most important thing, but you need to inform them, is to see whether you have a toll-free international number. So there are instances, probably for example, I had lost my baggage in Hong Kong and it didn't reach me as soon as I landed. Then I spent almost 20,000 rupees coordinating because they didn't have a toll-free insurance international number back then. So having a toll-free international number, because you would be on an international roaming and it's going to cost you 150 rupees a minute. So making sure that you have a cashless and you have an international toll-free number. These are the 2 critical components when it comes to making a claim, because you might end up spending half an hour or an hour on the phone with these guys explaining that you have a claim to make, and it needs to be cashless and it needs to be free of cost to actually have a conversation with them.
Yeah, that actually makes so much sense. I mean, I'd not even thought about that. But tell me one thing. If I cancel I've already bought travel insurance, I then decide that, the dates are not working out for me, I cancel my trip, or I postpone my trip to another day. Is it possible to move my insurance policy along easily, or if it's cancelled entirely, is it easy enough to get a refund?
See, there are 2 kinds of policies. Just like you have a refundable and non-refundable flight you take, you have a refundable or non-refundable policy. So the premiums of a non-refundable policy are significantly lower. Again, the difference between them is about 40%. So if you take like in case of airlines, when you book a ticket, the non-refundable fares are generally 25% cheaper. So is the case with the policies. So if you actually are more certain of doing the travel, and if you have your visas already in place, then you should always take a non-refundable policy. Most of the trips which get deferred are because of visas not arriving to your doorstep on time. So if you have your visas, if you have your tickets non-refundable, then there makes no sense to have a refundable policy. Right? You have a visa, you have a flight ticket non-refundable, but you have an insurance policy refundable. So it doesn't add up. So you need to take a non-refundable.
Now what's happened with me, I picked up my visa on my way to the airport.
Wow.
So that was scary. But finally, what about personal liability? What if I'm on a holiday, I end up inadvertently injuring someone? Is that something that can also be covered?
See, there are those are expensive policies. Like when you actually look at car insurance, that's a third-party claim being levied on you, and then the insurance policy is covering. So what happens is there are some countries where it is mandatory to cover any personal liability because of you creating an injury due to negligence or whatever. There are countries, especially in the Europe, which actually mandate you to have that kind of insurance. There also you have a category because depending on exclusions and inclusions, the premiums keep changing. So it's not mandatory that you actually cover yourself for everything unless the country which you're visiting is mandating you. So there's a lot of homework depending on which part of the world you're actually visiting and whether it's a mandate or you want to do it out of will.
All right, let's take a break on that note. We'll come back in a bit and we'll tell you what to do if you're traveling for extended periods of time. For example, if you're a student, what kind of insurance do you need if you're traveling abroad? Stay tuned. We'll be back with all of that in just a bit.